Hi there, I am Stacy Phillips, and I am so excited to kick off season 1 of my podcast, Stacy Phillips and Friends, or as we like to say, keeping it real with non-housewives. No slight to real housewives. We really love you. Everybody needs a housewife in their life. Each week, we will step into my wardrobe, literally one of my closets, where one of my nearest and dearest friends and confidants will fill this chair next to me as my co-host to chat a little bit about life and a lot about women empowering women. Together, we will have a gap session with just us gal pals, a deep dive for the dish, a convo among co-eds, and then our big feature presentation, the special guest interview, or what I call the SGI. But first, move over, Andy Cohen, with your mazel of the day, because at Stacy Phillips and Friends, we will bump it up a notch or 3 as we Kibitz, Kvetch, and Kvell, the best 5 minutes of commenting, complaining, and crowing. And because I am a divorce attorney, my producer, George, will drop in to spend a few minutes of each show talking about a high-profile relationship in the news. So welcome to Stacy Phillips and Friends. Let's keep it real. I'm Stacy, and welcome to Stacy Phillips and Friends, or as we like to say, keeping it real with non-housewives. And we love housewives. My co-host today is my dear friend and bestie, Bridget Gless Keller. Say hi, Bridget.
Hi, Stace. So happy to be here.
So Bridget is a jewelry designer, philanthropist on steroids, and fifth-generation Angelina. Her designs have been featured in Vogue, the New York Times, the LA Times, and worn to every award ceremony in Hollywood. She has spent the last decade as a trustee at the Children's Institute. She was the chair of the Children's Institute Frank Gehry Design Campus in Watts, bringing it to fruition with completion on schedule in spite of COVID. And I repeat, and 2.4 million, yes, 2.4 million under budget. Hollywood, pay attention to this lady. This campus provides education and mental health services to thousands of children, including early care and education, youth development, and family support services. Bridget is involved in the CHIPS and the Diodames women. I'm still never going to say that right. Both women-run organizations that support various charities for LA children. She's been president of the Colleagues, a 74-year-old organization comprised of 60 powerful women donating over $40 million citywide. Under her leadership, the group diversified its annual giving from 1 to 14 LA charities. Bridget is a 20-year member of USC's Board of Counselors for the Libraries. She and her wonderful husband, Paul, divide their time between LA and Oceanside, California.
With our beloved Atticus, our dog.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to my closet, Bridge. I'm so excited about our special guest, LeeAnne Locken, today. How about you?
I am thrilled. I'm thrilled to be back in your closet, and the only reason that it won't be emptied is because we wear different shoe sizes.
I think we would probably wear the same dress size, although you are taller than I.
I don't know about that, but I do like watching. I don't think I've ever seen you wear the same outfit twice, which is why I love being in here, because it's extraordinary.
So our mutual friend Penny, who works at Neiman's, gets a little annoyed at me because she thinks I overdo wearing some of my clothes. That's the contrary.
Well, you have options.
Yes, I have options.
You have options.
And I keep things for a very long time. And then I have a uniform, and then I don't wear it for a while, and then it comes back as a uniform.
See, but this is why I do think fashion is fun, because if you have true style, you buy well, and you can hold on to it for a long time. And it does last.
Like this dress I wore for my mother's funeral. Okay, why am I wearing blue to my mom's funeral? Because
why were you wearing blue to your mother's funeral?
Because my father did not like us in black. For his funeral, I wore fuchsia. And for my mom, it's the color of her eyes that my father fell in love with. And in my eulogies, I talked about both. So blue for my mother.
That's beautiful.
And you know, when you're being filmed, you're not supposed to wear white or black. White and black together is
and
fine.
I'm wearing both.
No, you can have a contrast, but you can't have just white or just black.
See, and look at my earrings. I made these earrings, thank you. And one is a Tahitian pearl, which is black. The other South Sea, which is white. And on these long diamond bars for people listening. And look, you can see black and white.
Just gorgeous. I was looking at the black that actually looked blue from my band.
See, look, and then you can see this side. So you get both, and it just shakes it all up. Keep people guessing.
And no, it's not a mismatch. It's an intentional match.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
And the dress you're wearing, Andrew
Gin. This is Andrew Gin and a little Jimmy Choo. And I wore my own jewelry, including, well, these, I did not make, but these are our sassy 6 rings.
For 6 of us, we all have matching rings. I actually have this dress in lime green and royal blue.
You know, I'd like to tell you have great taste.
I know I do. And when I see things that you pick in Penny's room, I'm like, I should focus on that.
Oh, believe me, I'm looking at the blue and the ostrich feather in your closet, and I'm knowing I bought a dress from her similar to that, which I know.
Periwinkle.
Yes, exactly. It's hedging towards it, is it
Or
not?
blueberry or light blue. It's beautiful and it's soft. And
It's
fun.
gorgeous and it's fun and fabulous.
Okay, that's my producers telling me it's time to get going with our Kibitz, Kvetch, and Kvell. Kibitz is to talk, to chatter. Kvetch is to complain. Probably don't need that today. And Kvell, as my dad would say, is to bust your butts. So, Bridge, you got a choice of one. What do you want to do? Kibitz, Kvetch? I don't think so. And or Kvell.
I'm with you. I don't want to kvetch because I think there's too much of it out there right now. But we can kibitz. And since we've got the lovely Leanne on, who is based in Dallas and was on the Real Housewives of Dallas, I think we could talk about Dallas. I used to spend a lot of time there. I almost married a lovely gentleman from there. And what I loved about that big old state, everybody was fun and kind. Now, maybe always to your face, maybe not always behind your back. There may be some similarities to LA there, but it was interesting because he was a 6th generation Texan and I am a 6th generation Californian. So
how would you merge that?
That was a question. That was a question. There was one question he did say, how often would you need to go home and see your family? And I'm close with my family. And plus, I love California and I love Los Angeles. I mean, look outside. What's so lucky is this beautiful closet has got a stunning window and it is gorgeous in LA. So I love LA. Cue Randy Newman's song right now.
I love it. So, what relationship should we talk about this week? Real Housewives of New York City?
Oh my God.
Bethany?
Are we keeping up with the Real Housewives? So are we having a theme with this podcast?
Yeah,
I'm
keeping
hearing?
it on brand this episode. The relationship roundup tea that I put together today was about Bethany Frankel. Bethany Frankel revealed that she initiated the split with her boyfriend Paul, and they had been dating for 6 years, and they were engaged in 2021. And she says she wasn't happy, and something needed to change. She says she's confident being single now. She's independent, and she is happy. And she says she will survive. She revealed that on her podcast.
Of course she will.
Yes, and Paul reportedly has moved on with someone new, but they actually just broke up like 3 hours ago. It was announced. So Bethany's ex Paul
always
moved
was
on.
someone new. Huh.
Yes. So
You're
he actually
amazing,
just broke
George, that you're so on top of this.
Okay, George, I have a question. Do we have any updates about Kyle Richards and
Mauricio.
yeah, that's his name. I was going to say Mario. Yeah, Mauricio Umansky.
I don't think we have any updates. Oh, they did gift their daughter a Porsche for her birthday. I saw.
That's normal. That's so normal.
Yeah, normal.
Not at all.
16 years old, got a Porsche for her first car.
Oh my
Lucky her.
God.
So they came together.
Growing up, when one of my cousins got a very fancy car, and my parents said, if that's what you're getting at 16, what are you going to get when you're 30?
My first car was a Chevy Malibu, and that was like from 1999. What was your first car, actually, ladies? I'm curious now.
Honda Accord that I bought for myself. At least, bought with payment plan for myself.
Nice.
Love it.
God. My dad said he wanted to wait till I got into my first accident. So I had a teeny fender bender in my mom's Cadillac. And then about 6 months later, it was a convertible Volkswagen Rabbit. Because you have to remember, this was like 1983. It was fabulous. And it was stick shift.
Ooh.
I'm a badass. That's right.
Yes, you
Growing
are.
up in New York City, we didn't have a car. So it was when I moved to LA that I had to buy a car. My mother said, well, I'll take the bus. I was like, okay, that's not LA.
Yeah. That's so funny. But you know what's interesting? I went to an all-girls school in Marlboro here in LA. And I remember those girls who had these Jaguars or BMWs. they were not cool girls. Truthfully, it was like their
Really?
parents were buying them these cars to help make them cool. And the rest of us had stuff that was a little more appropriate for the age, or you had a
Sure.
hand-me-down car or like
Yeah.
a Mustang convertible, like something like that. It was just a little more solid and functional.
Okay, so that's the sound that it's time for a special guest interview, the SGI. This week, we are very excited to spend some time with the gorgeous, really gorgeous, and talented LeeAnne Locken. I mean, just look at her.
Oh, you guys are being way too
So-
nice. I feel like I should have put more makeup on.
No, you don't need it, babe. Hailing from Dallas, LeeAnne is an actress, philanthropist, like I am, like Bridget is in spades, TV host, model, author, and beauty pageant title holder, of course. She first tasted fame winning Miss Arizona USA in 1989 and placing in the top 10 at 1989 Miss USA pageant. Woo, woo.
Mobile.
She is a reality TV star, appeared in Big Rich, Texas, which we were talking about before we put the mics on, and The Real Housewives of Dallas. She began her career as an actress, appearing in the films Vasectomy, I like that name, A Delicate Matter in 1986, and My Best Friend is a Vampire, 1987. She continued to work as an actor, appearing in films and TV, including Sons of Thunder, Miss Congeniality, love that movie, Texas Ranger, and Beyond the Farthest Star. Bravo fans will know that from 2016 until 2020, LeeAnne was the main cast member in Bravo's The Real Housewives of Dallas since the series premiere, leaving the show after its 4th season. LeeAnne focused most of her time as a philanthropist. She was a board member and representative for the charity The Fashionistas. Love that name. She has published 2 books in her spare time and is an active philanthropist for several charities. Wow. Now, did I miss anything
Oh,
in that rather long
Listen,
one?
I've lived like 11 lives, so we won't even talk about the fact that I grew up on a carnival.
What were your
Spill
parents
that tea.
doing? Come on.
No,
Deets.
everybody knows. I grew up on a carnival. I was a carny kid growing up.
And what were your parents? Were they tightrope walkers?
No,
or?
so that's the circus. So the carnival,
sorry.
we just took your money. We didn't entertain you.
And all the Ferris wheels and the rides and
We
the
had all the
games
rides
and all of
the
that,
food
right?
And the games, yeah. I owned at 13.
Wow.
At 13, I bought my first. We call the games flat joints because they're held together by R clips and wood and hinges, so they're called flat joints. And so yeah, at 13, I bought my first joint, Tip Up the Coke, and I had adults working for me, and I retired from the carnival at 16.
Wow.
Yeah, with a
It's
lot of
incredible.
money in my shoes.
My first job after I went to law school was to work for a federal judge, and he had been a carnival barker.
Yeah.
And he told me he learned a lot about people as a carnival barker on who was trustworthy and who was not, which served him well as a lawyer and then a judge.
And I will tell you,
Very
all
cool.
of my friends are like, I'm not going to date anybody unless I get LeeAnne's opinion. And because I can tell you, if I'm quiet around somebody you introduce me to, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. I don't do.
Well, I
Follow that
Yeah,
gut.
carnies don't do surface real well. Neither do I'm a Gemini too, so we don't do surface really well, which is most of, sadly, the conversations you have in Dallas society is surface. You know, hi, how are you? Lovely dress. It's so good to see you. Okay, well, I'll talk to you later. That's a surface conversation. I like to go really deep, which is, like, hey, how are you? Are you okay? What's been going on? I really want to get to know somebody. I have connections and I don't have connections. So yeah. But everybody I've picked out as not a nice person has been not a nice person.
Well, I wish you lived here, but I started dating somebody back in October, and it was really important to me for my friends, one sitting right next to me, to check him out because I did not want to make a mistake because my last husband was a mistake.
Girl, been there, done that.
Chapters. It's chapters.
It is.
Moving forward with chapters.
It is chapters. It really is. And you know what? I have decided this is my one and only marriage. I waited to 51 to get married. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm like, this is it. I'm going to go to heaven. I'm going to call one name and my grandma, and that's it. But
how'd you meet your husband?
He doesn't like me to say this. He's in the other room. We met on Facebook.
Oh, cool.
Good for you. It's very common.
I
Even
bet you
easier
have
than a
friends in
bar.
Oh, I
common.
hated it. I was like, he would message me and he would be like, hey, would you like to go out? And I'm like, I don't date people from the internet. Like, that's how you get killed, you know? And he was just like, he didn't know. He had to have two of my friends who weren't really my friends. These were two models. This was back when I was modeling and doing TV. And he had two people who were with the same agency write me letters to say what a good guy he was. And these two women did not like me. And I was like, okay, well, if you can get two people that I don't like and don't like me to say something good about you, I guess I should give that a try. So
Guess who won? You.
yeah. Oh my God. He showed up at my front door and I opened the front
Amazing.
door and I was like, I literally was like one of those, you go, does my breast stink? What kind of panties do I have on?
So when I opened the door for Brad, what blurted out of my mouth was, oh, you're cute. I've never said something like that in my life.
No filter. None.
Yeah. And I normally am filtered.
Oh no. Well,
So
that's
that's
a
sort
good
of just,
sign.
and then I gave him a big hug.
That's a good sign. If you find someone that makes you want to say what you think, if I feel comfortable just saying the truth around you, I don't have to be like, okay, I know I shouldn't tell her about this because she's friends with so-and-so and that'll get this. And, I just, all that.
That's exhausting.
Yeah.
It is.
Agree
And
with you. Yeah.
I'm not good at games. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm good at actual games like solitaire, word game.
Well, you're a carnival kid.
That I love, and I'm highly competitive. But when it comes to playing people like toys and dolls, I don't understand that. I've never understood it. My grandmother just raised me differently.
So tell us, you're more than just waiting till you were older and loving your husband. Tell us about your charity work, your acting, your modeling, your everything.
Okay, well, so like I said, I grew up on the carnival, and then I got into pageants. And when you're doing pageants, some of the judges would be directors and owners of modeling agencies. So I met a bunch of modeling agency directors. I got into modeling. That led to acting. I've done some crazy acting jobs, like I did Star Search with Ed McMahon. I know that was a long time ago, right? And then that led to movies. And like my first movie, Vasectomy: A Delicate Matter, was actually with Abe Vigoda, Dom DeLuise.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I was
You got all the old school guys, the
like
OGs.
16 probably. 16 or 17. There's never a space for me. Like I'm one of those people that I'm happiest when I always have a project. Go, 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 go. Sleep. Go, 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 go. So yeah.
Well, you met two people like you.
Yeah, I love to be busy.
So fun.
When I'm not busy, my brain can get me in trouble. So, I mean, now there's Netflix, so I'm so much happier because I can actually just like focus on that rather than like, all the projects I want to do around the house. My husband has told me I'm not allowed to say, you know what I was thinking, because that usually means that he has to do something.
Yeah, it's a honey-do list.
It's a honey-do list.
So
He's like, where's the honey don't list? I'm like, oh, that no.
So we all have philanthropy in common. So tell us about the charities that you're involved in and what you're passionate about.
So I'm a huge animal advocate. I share images of dogs. I go all over the city doing dog adoptions. I work with the ASPCA, Street Dogs of Dallas, which I will tell you, Street Dogs of Dallas is an amazing organization. They literally go into our underprivileged areas and rescue dogs off the street that have been
abandoned.
Not even that. Like people have thrown hot water on a dog and her puppies, and all the puppies died, and she had a huge melting skin, and so they rescued her and got her medical attention. She's adopted now, and she lives in a beautiful home. But like that dog will never trust humans, and that's like I hate that because animals can't speak for themselves. And I just think that anybody who's willing to harm an animal is, I mean, them and me in the back alley any night. Let's go.
I concur. I'll meet them with
Go.
you.
I
I
agree.
feel the same
I
way.
just,
So the love of my life is my rescue dog, Hurley. I adopted him on December 2020. He was found in a farm town near Bakersfield. My daughter thinks he was a stud at a puppy farm. And strangely, he trusts people. He is the sweetest dog and the love of my life. And I can't imagine how he ended up on the streets.
it's horribly sad, isn't it? I mean, we have a location here in Dallas that's highly known for people just pulling over and dumping their dogs. And we've put a camera out there, and now we get their license plates, and we,
Fantastic.
oh my God, I would love for them to have jail time
for you.
so they could see what it's like to be in a cage,
Yes.
but we haven't gotten that far
Yes.
yet. We're still in just the fining stage, but I'm pushing for litigation for jail time because
I think in California, we actually do put people. I think we do arrest
do
people.
you? That'd be awesome.
I thought we did. I
Well, I
did
know
for
if
animal
you
abuse.
beat dogs or you have the dog fighting.
Yeah, dog fights.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's torture of an animal. Dumping a dog isn't. They don't consider it harming a dog. You're just releasing them.
Right.
I mean,
dumping.
it's a lot of, it's a lot of effort here. It's a lot of effort.
You're fighting for those who don't have a
Yes,
voice, which is the kindest thing somebody can
That's
do.
my
So
achievement.
well done you.
Thank you.
Well
I have
done
two
you.
friends-
They're sentient beings.
They are.
Sentient
And you know
beings
what?
are
And they,
dogs.
all the things that we need in the moment when we need it the most, animals have a sense to be able to know how to fill that. And I could never have made it through my life without. I've owned 3 dogs. I had my Pomeranian was my very first rescue. A little blonde Pomeranian. He was the love of my life. And then when he passed, I was already dating my husband, and I found a little black dog. He's like a little terrier mix. He has a little white tuxedo shirt on. And he came running up to me when I was anchoring the news in Plano, and he just jumped right on me. And I was like, okay. And I looked for his owner, never found him. So my husband was like, we're keeping him. And I'm like, you mean I'm keeping him? I'm feeding him. I'm taking him off the block. So then we kept him. We named him Chief. And then 2 years later, a good friend of mine who's a lawyer here in Dallas, she volunteers her services for the SPCA of Dallas, found a beagle. And she took a picture of her, and the beagle's eyes looked just like my boy's eyes. I was about to say my son, because I call him my daughter and my son. And I called her. I called the phone. I called her and I was like, listen, Cassie, can I please bring my little boy over and see if they get along? Because I believe she's my dog. Like, I believe she belongs to me. And she just kicked his butt and got him up and moving around. And I was like, yep, they're brother and sister.
Oh, that's great.
So, I love my dog. So I do a
great.
lot of animal rescue. I do a lot of child abuse with Dallas CASA. And I'm huge into the LGBTQ movement. I've got so many organizations that I work with here. Legacy Cares, which actually operates the only in the country, the only women-only conference for HIV positive women. There's nowhere else in the country, in the world, that hosts a convention or a conference where women can come and talk to each other about what they're this medication makes me do this. Oh, well, you know what I came up with? To me, it's like the things that you wish you knew if you had a sister that was, had the same issues as you that you could share with. And no woman with HIV feels comfortable saying she has HIV because it's like a scourge on, herself as a human. I mean, she's, damaged and just, and it got to really bother me because we fought so hard for gay men to have equal rights, to not be shamed because it's a disease. It's not who they are. And we still have a long way to go for women with that. And that I'm like down with ending shame. That's a big thing for me. I just don't think you should be ashamed of anything, I don't believe in it. I think
That's
that's what
fantastic.
I
That is
agree with
shame
you.
causes the darkness, which causes the damage. And when we stop damage and shine a light in the darkness, then we have a better society. So that's a huge one for me, LGBTQ. And I work really hard with sex trafficking, to end sex trafficking and to release
Wow.
kids from sex.
Which is not light at
Oh,
all.
yeah, I work with unlikely heroes, and I can
Oof.
tell you, like, it, the things I've seen, the things I've had to learn, that I heard and know exist. You can never filter those out of your head, you know? And so
Right.
once you see a
Right.
child, I mean, especially for me as a child of damage, to see a child being damaged currently, it just it it makes me nauseous. It does. It makes me sick. And so I don't think people understand how prosperous and prevalent child sex trafficking is. And I think that it's because we don't want to talk about it, because it's such a, don't, I know it happens, but let's not bring it up. But until we bring it up and put it out there in the light that we've got to stop this, girls and boys are being sex trafficked out of very wealthy neighborhoods every day. And
Right.
somebody has got to
Yeah.
talk about it and shine a light on it and stop it.
Wasn't the movie with Liam Nelson
Liam
about
Neeson.
that? Neeson about that?
Taken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Taken.
Mhm.
I love that movie. I can
I
count
do
how
too.
many
It's horrifying.
my husband and I went to see it, and as he was going in the building for the very first one, I was counting how many people were in the building, and he got to the top room, and I go 22, and Rich goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "He has to kill 22 people."
Oh my God.
Oh my
You're so
But
good. Next time you come to LA, there's somebody here named Lori Burns. She's written a book called Punished for Purpose, and she started something called the Teen Project. And as president of the colleagues, we have granted gifts to a lot of charities in Los Angeles. And the Teen Project was one of them. And it's specific to creating a safe haven for trafficked girls. And she just created a whole space wherein 56 girls can wake up
And that's
safe. You take that for granted,
they
but they can wake up
you
safe.
do. People don't understand that feeling as a child of what it's like. Like, there's nowhere to go. And, I honestly and very sadly understand that feeling. Not that I was ever trafficked. I was sexually abused as a child and I was abandoned by my mother. But I remember there was a time when, at maybe 4 years old, my grandmother took me to daycare, and I can remember running around to the fence and watching her car drive off. And as a 4-year-old going, okay, I got to figure out what I'm going to do tonight, where I'm going to eat. I have to find a safe place to sleep. And that was my mentality at 4. And that's their mentality, is they're not equipped mentally or physically to deal with the situations that they're put in. And it just,
Right.
When your grandmother dropped you off at daycare, was she picking you up that afternoon?
Yeah.
But in your mind, you didn't know if she
I'd
was
been
picking you up
left so many times by my mom.
because your mom had walked out. So you didn't trust that somebody would be there for you.
Wow. God bless Grandma.
My grandmother
Wow.
was the salt of the earth. I would have slayed dragons for that woman. I would have walked into fire for her. She was God's grace, and I can never repay the strength and the foundation in God that she gave me. I can never repay what.
But you are, because you're paying it
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. I mean, she taught me that. She taught
Exactly.
me that kindness matters, and that we, a random act of kindness creates a ripple that could impact the whole universe. And you don't know unless you try to create that ripple,
hmm So with that said, what are your books about, since you're so diverse?
Well, so my first book, back when I did Facebook every morning religiously, I used to post positive posts, and this was before images and all that. I just would type something out positive. Like, I would think about, okay, faith. My grandmother used to tell me that having fear, worrying means you don't have faith. So to worry is a sin because you're not having faith that God is going to, whatever God means to be is going to be. So worrying about anything you can't control is a waste of energy and a loss of faith. And so like I would put things out there like that all the time. Well, eventually after 2 years of doing it, all of my Facebook followers was, back then I had like 3 pages. So it was like, I think 15,000. They would be like, you need to do a book. You need to collect these and put them in a book. And so I finally did. And it was called, back when you first signed on to Facebook, it used to say, what's your status? And that would be my status. So I named the book, What's Your Status? And then I've actually written 10 other books, 12 other books, 12 other books, which are all affirmation books for every month. Like January would be, a new year, a new you. February would be like finding love, whether that's loving yourself, loving your friends, giving love, receiving love, understanding love. So I wrote all these different, it was 100 affirmations in each book and how to use affirmations correctly and all that. So I like it. I don't sit still long. I really do.
No grass growing under your feet.
You're a Renaissance woman,
So-
that is for sure.
During COVID, I'm a partner in a law firm. I'm a divorce lawyer, and we have about 700 and something lawyers and several thousand people around the country and in China.
Wow.
And with the permission of the managing partner and chair, once a week I would send out a quote that I found that I thought was meaningful, and then I would comment on it to everybody in the firm. And I would get comments back. And what was the most fascinating? The people that communicated the most with me were not lawyers. It was the staff. And people knew me because I had been communicating with everybody in the firm. I didn't know them in all the different 15 offices we have, but they felt comfortable enough to say, thank you, that really made my day, or I really appreciated that, you buoyed me up, or yes, I abide by that thought process, whatever it was. And so that I had this connection with all people around the country and China.
Doesn't it feel good?
It was really cool.
It feels good.
It was
to
really
put
cool.
good into the world. And that's exactly what started happening to me with all of my sayings that I would put on Facebook. I would go to an event and people like Lisa Garza, who's an amazing chef. She's, I think, done Bravo and some other stuff. She came up to me at an event one time and said, I want to thank you for your quote. When my brother got killed in the war, he was in Afghanistan. Reading your quotes every morning is the only thing that kept me going. And like, how do you stop doing something when you know that it is helping other people, which was honestly the only reason that I ever ended up joining Housewives, was because they pitched it as how women make it in Dallas. And the way that I made it in Dallas was getting to know everybody by being a connector in the nonprofit circuit. So like if I went to an event and one of my friends was chairing and they'd be like, oh, I need flowers at, $5,000. I can't spend any more than that. I'd be like, okay, well, let me make a phone call, and then I would call somebody who does that. And I'd be like, hey, listen, so-and-so who's a good friend of mine needs a flowers. They don't, this is their budget. Can you come in at that? And they'd be like, for you, Leanne, yeah, anything. And so that's really how I got to know everybody, was, being a mouth.
That says a lot. That says a lot about you. I have a question actually for you. I wonder, as you have all these quotes that you've assembled, and I share your love of philanthropy and doing it because it feels so good. Is there one quote that you have up on your bathroom mirror, or that really touches your soul, that inspires you, that you could share?
Yeah,
Because I'm always looking
every day
for inspiration.
Acts 2:25. I pitched my tent in the land of hope. And it's, without hope, we have nothing. When we give up on hope is when bad things happen. And it's, my grandmother used to say, you go to bed singing and you wake up singing and you go to bed crying. And to me, that's a sign that I gave it my all day long to do what was right and what was good. And that whether the world beat me down, I ended up crying, and I woke up the next morning singing again, ready to try it all over. Like I had hope every day that every day would be better. And so my grandmother said, Acts 2:25.
And what about you, Bridge?
I don't know. Dance like nobody's watching and drink tequila whenever you can. How about that?
I have two. Good judgment comes from experience, most of it bad.
Mhm.
I mean, that's how we learn. And three, if you have a bad experience and you don't learn from it, then it's just a bad experience. But if you learn from it, it's something positive. And if you do well, you must do good. So those are my
Okay,
three.
so let me ask you ladies, because I used to get this all the time when I would get interviewed. They'd say, is there anything you regret? And I always felt that if I regret something, even if, yes, I fell face first and I acted a fool and I did bleh things, would I redo them if I was sober and conscious? And, this was Housewives. Of course I would. I wouldn't. But they say, do you regret anything? And I would always say no, because without me doing that and falling down, how was I to learn to not do it the next time, or to learn how to be a better person? Like, I truly believe my time on Housewives was like therapy. Like, I saw myself on TV and I was like, that doesn't work. So what do you say when people say, is there anything you regret?
For me, and I learned this from my cousin, and he made me really think about this. He's much younger than I am, and yet he taught me, which is if you were to change something, you wouldn't be you. So everything that you went through, good and bad, the result is who you are today.
Exactly.
So changing something, am I happy that I was married to an alcoholic? No. But I wouldn't be who I am today. I'm a better lawyer. I'm a better person. It's part of who I am. So, and I learned from it. So it became positive. So it goes with what I was saying before. It all fits together.
Yeah, it does.
You, Bridge?
I don't know. I'm with you. I probably would have gone, would I have done that? But you know what? I think I've learned because I've got a great dad and I've got an amazing husband who both have taught me, let it go.
Oh.
What, you can't change it. So why worry about it?
So in addition to that question, since it's not every day that you get a divorce lawyer and a philanthropist like you
I love
sitting
this
together.
I love this.
So
It's
what
fun.
kind of questions you want to ask
I
us?
know.
Go for
Okay,
it.
so what's the hardest thing about being a divorce lawyer?
Custody, dealing with custody. I have a client now. She lost, before I was involved, she lost a domestic violence hearing and they basically took her kids away from her. She sees them just a few hours a week with a monitor. Based on horrific texts that she sent, I have no doubt that the story that she told and what her husband did to her, I believe was accurate. I think the judge did not make all the right decisions, and trying to give her enough hope and heal her from her trauma so that she can gain more time with her kids. I mean, that is the hardest for me. And I guess a corollary to that is to see how some of my opponents, not the lawyers, but the parties, how some of them treat their children or their wives or their husbands, for that matter. The way people treat each other.
The way people treat each other is so shocking. It's so shocking, especially if you can witness it behind what I like to say behind closed doors, because everybody, it's like Instagram, it's your best picture ever,
Everybody looks like they're having a perfect life with tons of money.
Exactly. And that's like not even a nth of their real life. So, yeah.
So ask Bridget a question.
Bridget, what is your favorite organization to work with?
Such a great question. And so right now it's something called Strive. So what I did, I've been volunteering for about 12 years and I chaired the building of a Frank Gehry project in Watts, which is our neediest section of Los Angeles. And it helps thousands of kids. And Strive is another much smaller annual budget where it's tutoring and after school, but it is the neediest kids. And to have a Caucasian woman in that section, and I've been doing this now for 12 years, it it's impactful with consistency for these kids because there's so much hope and all they need is a little bit of gift and support. And what's also interesting though, I must add, because for 12 years I have worked so hard and given so much, what I'm really realizing is the self-care aspect and how I just stepped down from chairing and being president of this big organization that had Betsy Bloomingdale and Nancy Reagan, and it's small and mighty. And I declined a third year because I want to do some things for myself. I've given so much to so many other people, and I want to take care of me and my sweet husband and my parents who are still with us. So it's. I feel like I'm an Atticus. I feel like I'm going to heaven. Yeah. I've done a lot. I've done a lot of good.
She chaired this building, and it came in $2.4 million under budget. I repeat, under.
And I'm a jewelry designer, but I had a little secret weapon with my husband. But it's good. It's so good, and it's having impact, which sounds like it's exactly what you are doing, and it's just rippling out into all these communities. So it all has value.
I always people, I get a million questions on social media. How do I get started in the nonprofit world? And I'm like, get off your sofa and volunteer.
Yeah, correct. Pick up the phone. Exactly. Choose one.
If you ask
just start.
Any organization, do you need help? Everyone will say yes. And then one volunteer job, you'll meet someone who will tell you that they're volunteering for this other people and that you should come volunteer with them. And then the next thing you know, you have a friend list that's incredible because it's all friends who want to help someone else.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right.
So you've been fabulous. Please let us know when you're coming to town. Absolutely. We'd love to do something with you. Thank you to our new friend, LeeAnne Locken, my dear friend, Bridget Gless Keller. Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you all for spending some of your precious time with us at Stacy Phillips and Friends. You can watch us on my YouTube channel, at Stacy Phillips, or download us wherever you get your podcasts. And please follow me on Instagram at Stacy D. Phillips Ask. That's for Esquire, and on LinkedIn. And Bridge, where do we find you?
BG Keller 143 on Instagram. Bridget Gless Keller on Facebook.
So see you there again soon, and please come out and visit us.
Yes.
Love will always be in fashion.